Hello students, welcome to Meso Study again. In the today's session, I will be talking about certain questions for the chapter Respiration in Plants. We have studied the respiration in plants. Respiration basically means whatever product which is formed in the photosynthesis that has to be broken down into a various substrate. Along with this, there is also a release of energy, and that energy is utilized for the various processes. And we have studied regarding the different processes, some anaerobic respiration, aerobic respiration, etc. we have studied in the session. Now in the today's session, I have compiled around 10 questions. All the questions are from separate categories, some from 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks and the 5 marks, right? And we will be discussing each of these one by one. Let's move. So the first question of today's class is, what is or define fermentation and aerobic respiration? This question is of a 1 mark, so you have to answer accordingly. Now, what is a fermentation? Fermentation is a process of an anaerobic breakdown. That is an anaerobic breakdown of a substrate into a smaller particle. In this, that substrate, that organic compound is not completely degraded. Rather than certain intermediate products, they are formed. Whereas to talk about the aerobic respiration, in this there is a complete breakdown of the product. So fermentation, anaerobic breakdown of substrate, anaerobic breakdown of substrate, that is called as a fermentation, and this is called as a incomplete breakdown. Incomplete breakdown. In this case, whatever products they are which are formed, definitely they will release energy. Energy which is released in case of the fermentation is very less as compared to the energy which is released in aerobic respiration. Released is less as compared to aerobic respiration. Now let's talk about a second word, that is aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is a complete breakdown of substrate, and that substrate basically is a carbohydrate, and basically carbohydrate, due to which energy is released, large amount of energy is released. The large amount of energy is released, and ultimately the product which is formed in this case is carbon dioxide and water. To talk about the fermentation, fermentation itself is of very different types. In this we have as a lactic acid fermentation, we have as a acetic acid fermentation and ethyl alcohol fermentation. So alcoholic fermentation, acetic acid fermentation, and the next we are left with lactic acid fermentation. Right? These are the three types of fermentations. So this is the first question, which is of a 1 marks, though I have explained in detail, but you can write by 1 marks according to the 1 marks. Let's move on to the next question. Yes, the next question Read the next question. By the time, let me prepare board for you. What are the different type of respiration which occur in case of plant? Respiration means a breakdown of substrate. In this case, in case of the plant, the two type of respiration occur. What are those two type? First one is called as a aerobic respiration. And the second one is called as a anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is that respiration where there is a whatever that breakdown which is happening. Actually, it is a biochemical process or a biochemical breakdown. Biochemical breakdown of substrate in the presence of oxygen. Aerobic here indicate biochemical breakdown is happening but in the presence of oxygen, due to which the energy which is released, that is very high. In this case, the intermediates, they are not formed. Whereas to talk about the anaerobic is also a biochemical breakdown of substrate in the absence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen, and the energy which is released in anaerobic breakdown, that is very less. Less energy is released. Very less energy is released, whereas in case the high amount of large energy is released. That is a complete breakdown. Actually, this is a complete breakdown, right? Large energy is released, whereas in case of the anaerobic breakdown, less energy is released. In this case, the intermediates are formed. Whereas in this case, no intermediates are formed. Those intermediates which are formed in the anaerobic respiration, they can be further utilized for the synthesis of nucleotide, for the further synthesis of the different products, right? So these are the two different type of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Now, let's move on to third question, which is of same category, that is of a 1 mark. Very easy question, very direct question. Name the energy currency of a cell. What is the energy currency of cell? That is a ATP. ATP, what is the full form of ATP? That is adenosine triphosphate. ATP is energy currency of cell, right? And this is called as a adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate is called as a energy currency of cell. And where the synthesis of ATP happens? In the mitochondria, right? So this was a question number 3, with which we have completed a 1 category of question, 1 mark. Let's move on to the next category. So the next category, the question is of 2 marks. So we have to answer accordingly. What is the importance of F0, F1 particle in ATP production during aerobic respiration? Now this aerobic respiration, that means that is happening in the presence of oxygen. So F0, F1 particle, where they are present? Where they are present? They are present in mitochondria, inner membrane of mitochondria. Right, and which help in the aerobic respiration. Definitely they help in aerobic respiration, but these two particles which are present in the inner membrane, what is the function of these? So hope you remember the diagram I have made during the electron transport chain, the diagram of a mitochondria. In the diagram of a mitochondria, some particles and F1 and F0 particles I have made. The function of these F0 and F1 is different in each of these cases. Let's first discuss about the F0. F0 is embedded in the membrane. Embedded in membrane, right, and they help in transfer of proton. This is a function of a F0 particle. Now let's discuss about the F1. F1 is more towards the inner side. F1 they have a one enzyme present that is called as a ATP synthase. ATP synthase. And this enzyme, as the name indicates ATP synthase, what will be the function of these? That is ATP synthesis. Help in ATP synthesis. Help in ATP synthesis. So this is aerobic respiration. The two particles are common. Actually, this is the one particle. F0, F1 complex is there, and they are present in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. And what is the ATP production? What is the importance of particles? This F1, they maintain a gradient. What they do? Maintain proton gradient. Help in maintaining proton gradient. And second, they help in the ATP synthesis, that they are associated with one enzyme that is called as a ATP synthase. So this was a question number 4. Note down this, then we will proceed further. So students, hope you have noted down this. Now let's talk about the next question. This is also a question from 2 marks category. Question says, why less energy is produced during anaerobic respiration? As we have discussed in the session also, anaerobic respiration is that respiration where energy is released but less amount of energy is released, because in this case the incomplete breakdown happens. And that product which is formed because of the respiratory substrate, that product, that is not a complete breakdown happens. Certain intermediate products they are formed, and that intermediate product they can further oxidize, they can also release energy. In this case, oxygen is not used. If oxygen is not used, then electron and proton they will not be able to trapped. NADH which is produced in this case, they cannot be further hydrolyzed to produce ATP, because in this case the ETC, that is the electron transfer, is absent. Now, why less energy is produced in the anaerobic respiration? We have a points over here. Anaerobic respiration is incomplete breakdown, incomplete breakdown of respiratory products. Respiratory substrates. Then only products will be formed. Right? In absence of oxygen. Very important line. In absence of oxygen. Right? This is the incomplete breakdown. Now, when incomplete breakdown happens, intermediates are formed. Intermediate which are formed that can be further hydrolyzed. One first point is an incomplete breakdown, and the product which are formed, they can be further oxidized to liberate energy. Now, listen to the things very carefully. When we talk about a reaction, suppose if I say if A is converted into a B in presence of oxygen, and along with this a large amount of energy is released. If I say A is first converted into B, first converted into I, and after that it is converted into B. This is called as a anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. That means in this case the oxygen is not utilized, so intermediates they are formed. So these intermediates which are formed, now this one is only anaerobic respiration. If I want to liberate more energy, that energy will be liberated now, and even in this case the energy is also liberated. The energy which is liberated during the aerobic respiration, that is very less as compared to the energy which is related when a complete breakdown happens. When a complete breakdown happens, there is always a release of this oxygen, there is always a release of water, not oxygen actually, there is a release of carbon dioxide in the water, and the energy is released. Right? This is a complete breakdown and this is an incomplete breakdown. So intermediates which are formed, that can be further oxidized to liberate energy. Now, in this case oxygen is not present. Oxygen is not present, that's why there is no chance of the protons and electrons. No trapping of proton and electron. Of proton and electron. Right? Fourth point is that the energy sometime in this case is released in the form of a NADH. So NADH is further not oxidized to ATP, but in aerobic respiration this NADH is further oxidized to ATP. Not further oxidized to ATP. When it is not further oxidized to ATP, that means no further energy will be released, that means NADH is a wastage. So in this case, if I talk about no further oxidized to ATP, so can I say no electron transport is there? So these are the certain reasons by which the energy which is released during the anaerobic respiration, that is very less. Right? Now let's move on to the next question. Yes. Very good question, and students always gets confused regarding these two words. Now after this class, the exact difference between a respiration and the breathing will be clear to you. Normally we say that we are respiring. Actually our cells are respiring. What we do is a breathing. That is an intake of oxygen and exhale of carbon dioxide. Let's write the difference between a breathing and the second is a respiration. What is breathing? Breathing is a process, or basically if I say this is a biophysical process. Biophysical process. Because our organs are involved in this. Respiration is happening. Lungs are there, the nasal passage is there, trachea are there. So this is a biophysical process. Whereas a respiration is a biochemical process. First difference, biochemical process. The breathing is that process by which oxygen is taken in and right, whereas the respiration is that process in which oxygen, in this basically what happened, carbon dioxide, this the water and energy is released. How energy is released? By oxidation of carbohydrate. By oxidation of carbohydrate. Right? This is the actual difference between a breathing and the respiration. Normally we say the breathing is same and the respiration is same. Actually these are the two important processes, these are the two different processes. Breathing means intake of oxygen and carbon dioxide is released, whereas a respiration means it's a biochemical process in which the carbon dioxide, in this the water and the energy, each of these they are released. Along with this, the energy which is released, that is used for various metabolic process. But if I say these two processes are there, are they interlinked to one another? Yes, they are interlinked to one another. Oxygen, when it is done, oxygen is taken inside, due to which there is a complete breakdown of respiratory substrate, which releases carbon dioxide, water and energy, and that energy is utilized for the further process. The carbon dioxide which is released during the complete oxidation process, that is being eliminated with the help of a breathing only, because in the breathing I have written over here, the carbon dioxide is released, right. So this was a question number 6. Note down this, then we will proceed further. So students, hope you have noted down this. This was question number 6. Now let's move on to the next question, and this question is from a different category, that is of a 3 marks. Let's understand. So write the significance of citric acid cycle. Citric acid cycle. What is the significance of citric acid cycle? We have studied around about the citric acid cycle in detail. So what happens in citric acid cycle? Let's write in citric acid cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle, pyruvate is oxidized to release carbon dioxide, right, and various intermediates are formed. Various intermediates are formed, right. So the carbon dioxide is released and the pyruvate. Now tell me one thing, what is the source of this pyruvate? From where this pyruvate is coming? Hope you remember that session when I have discussed about the glycolysis. Glycolysis is that process in which the glucose is converted, one molecule of glucose is converted into a 2 molecule of pyruvate. So pyruvate, this pyruvate is coming from that glycolysis. So basically what happens in this case, the energy is released, and the energy which is released in this case, that is much higher as compared to the glycolysis. Large amount of energy, on an average 30 ATP is released. 30 ATP is released, right, as compared to glycolysis. As compared to glycolysis. Now, another point is that citric acid cycle, as I have written over here, the various intermediates are formed. The various intermediates which is formed in this case, that is further used for forming different products. Intermediate formed are used for forming other products. What are these other products? They can be of first fat, they can be used for the synthesis of nucleotide, they can be used for the synthesis of amino acid, etc. Right. This is the significance of a citric acid cycle, right? Rest all you can write about the citric acid cycle, where it happened. As I have discussed, the 30 ATP is released. You can mention about certain points where the different intermediates they are formed, because it's a 3 marks question. Now, let's move on to the next question. Yes, question says, what is fermentation? We have discussed about fermentation in detail in sessions. So, when you have to explain about the 3 processes by which the fermentation happens, there are 3 ways. First of all, what is fermentation? We have discussed also, that is an incomplete breakdown. Incomplete breakdown of respiratory substrate of respiratory substrate in absence of oxygen. Right. Now, there are 3 types of fermentation: first, second and third. The 3 different types of fermentation you have to explain in detail. First we have is the alcoholic fermentation. Alcoholic fermentation. Second is called as a lactic acid fermentation. Third one is called as a acetic acid fermentation. Right. Now, let's discuss about each of these fermentation in detail. I'll just give you an introduction regarding this. Alcoholic acid fermentation, where it happens? It happens in case of yeast. What is the scientific name of yeast? That is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Now, yeast releases certain enzymes, and those enzymes, they are basically zymases, due to which the glucose which is present in the medium, that is first converted into a pyruvate. Pyruvate is further converted into acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde is further converted into a ethyl alcohol. Right? This is called as a alcoholic acid fermentation. So, we have discussed in the session also, the zymases are released and alcoholic acid fermentation is there. So, alcohol is formed. Alcohol is formed. In the different sessions we have discussed in detail. Now, I will not make the structure of that, but let's talk about what happens in the case of the alcoholic fermentation, sorry. So in alcoholic fermentation, first of all, we have is a glucose present in the medium, and that glucose is further digested with the help of enzyme, that is a zymases, which is released by these Saccharomyces cerevisiae, that is a yeast. Glucose, we know that is converted into pyruvate. After that, the pyruvate is further converted into acetaldehyde, and acetaldehyde is further converted into alcohol, ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol. Reaction we have discussed in the session. Do write the reaction here as well, because it's a 3-mark question, so you have to answer in bit detail. Lactic acid fermentation, where lactic acid fermentation happen? Lactic acid fermentation happens in LAB, that is lactic acid bacteria. Lactic acid bacteria, and that also happens in mussels, right? And in mussels, right? In the lactic acid fermentation, the pyruvate which is formed, that is converted into a lactic acid, and along with this they use the energy, that is NADH2. So they use NADH2, and they form lactic acid plus NAD positive, and the enzyme which is used is a lactate dehydrogenase. Right. Now let's talk about acetic acid fermentation. Acetic acid fermentation that happen in Acetobacter aceti. Acetobacter aceti. So in Acetobacter aceti, the acetic acid is formed. The acetic acid which is formed in this case, actually they require oxygen. That's why when we talk about the fermentation, we talk about only these two fermentation, that are alcoholic fermentation, and the second is a lactic acid fermentation. We don't mention about the acetic acid fermentation, but still you can write require less amount of energy, require very less, oxygen, amount of oxygen, very less amount of oxygen, right? In this case, the pyruvate is first of all converted into acetaldehyde, and that acetaldehyde is further converted into the acetic acid, right? These are the 3 types of fermentation that you have to explain along with the reaction, because in the session I have given you the reaction as well. So to attain a good marks, you have to be better than others. First of all, note down this, then we'll proceed further. So now let's move on to the next question, that is a question number 9. So the question number 9 is of a 5 marks. Describe the process and the role of the citric acid cycle in the living organism. Citric acid cycle we have discussed in the session. Now what is the substrate of the citric acid cycle? That is a pyruvate. So the pyruvates convert into acetyl coenzyme A, convert into acetyl coenzyme A, and that acetyl coenzyme A that is further used. We have is oxaloacetic acid, Oxaloacetic acid along with acetyl coenzyme A, that is converted into citrate. After that, the citrate we have is a isocitrate. Then we have is a alpha ketoglutarate. After that we have is a succinate. Then we have is a fumarate. Then we have is a malate. This is how the whole cycle proceeds. Start from the pyruvate, and that pyruvate is released. The two molecules of the pyruvate, they are released from one molecule of glucose. So you have to explain about each of these step in detail. In which step the carbon dioxide is released, what are the energy which is released in this case, the NADH is released, the FAD is released. So you have to explain about those steps as well. So try to make the whole diagram in detail because we have already studied in the session. Along with that, the points you have to remember that in which of the reaction the energy is released, the carbon dioxide and the water is released. How many the total amount of energy which is formed, the total ATP which is formed in this case, that also you have to explain. So this is a citric acid cycle, a direct question that you can see from the sessions. Again and again I am repeating, you can go back to the sessions and you can discuss from there. Now let's move on to the next question. Give the various steps which is involved in the glycolysis. So glycolysis happens where? In the cytoplasm. So glycolysis is also an anaerobic breakdown in which the glucose is there. Glucose is first converted into glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate. That glucose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 6-phosphate. Fructose 6-phosphate is further converted into the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Biphosphate. Fructose 1,5-biphosphate is converted into two further substrate. What are those? Dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Hydroxyacetone phosphate and second is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Now this further, these are the both of the 3 carbon, whereas the rest above they are of 6 carbon, right? After that it is converted into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. That is converted into the 3-phosphoglycerate. Phosphoglycerate is converted into a 2-phosphoglycerate. Phosphoglycerate. 3-phosphoglycerate, 2-phosphoglycerate. Then again phosphoenol pyruvate. Then last is the pyruvate. So you have to explain about the cycle in detail wherever the energy is utilized, where in the first half the energy is utilized, in the second half the energy is released. So the 1 molecule of glucose, they give a 2 molecule of the pyruvate. How many CO2 is utilized? Actually CO2 is not utilized in this case. Instead, how many water molecule is utilized? In this case, how many oxygen will not be there, how many energy is released in this case, how much energy is utilized, that all you have to learn. And even we have discussed the same in the session. So if I'll start making the diagram again, that will take a large amount of time, so better to stop over here because we have discussed in the session. This is just an introduction to tell you that such type of questions can be asked. So we'll meet in the next session. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you so much students for watching this.